Hi everyone, I'm going live now, and who I have on my show today is the lovely Sagrika Rai. And I'm just checking to see that everything's fine on the channel. And I can see Sagrika has joined, so here I am. I'm going to ask Sagrika to come on. Just give me a minute. I'm just trying to set this up. Okay, give me a minute. Yep, here we go. Sagrika, I'm just getting her in. I'm trying to get her in. Give me a minute. Yes,
Hi,
here we are.
Kamalini. Happy New Year to
How are you?
you.
A
I'm
very, very
well.
happy New Year
I'm
to
well.
you.
I'm well. Very well. Thank you so much.
I
You,
love the color you're wearing, Sagrika.
I think it's very important that we start the new year with a bright spirit. We all need the cheer in our lives.
Absolutely. And should we wait for a couple of minutes before I introduce you? I can see people are joining. So I think,
Sure.
before we start the introduction,
Right.
um, we'll just wait for people to come. I must tell you, I just loved all the conversations we had up and down trying to set up a live, understanding whether it gets recorded on your account or my account and how it works.
And
So
I
it was
think
fun.
getting to know technology even more.
I know, I know.
I
And
think the
so,
one thing that 2020 has taught me, I must admit, I am a little old school person to that aspect. But the one thing that 2020 has taught us all is that be very savvy with technology.
okay. So, would you like me to start with a formal introduction? Would you like for a few more people to join? What do you want to do? Should we wait? It's 7:02. We had announced it for 7 o'clock. Should we wait till 7:03 or 4? People are
Uh,
going on joining now.
sure, Kamalini, your call.
Has your daughter reached? Has she managed to
Yes,
log in?
I am sure she must have logged in by now. Yes, she's back home. She's back home after her beautiful, wonderful New Year celebration, I think, which she definitely deserved.
Okay, so our well-wisher and dear close friend who introduced us, Gaurav, the champagne boy, has asked us to wait for a few minutes. Gaurav, we will go with your advice. You're the marketing champ. You are our guru as far as this is concerned. So just tell us to start and we will start. Are
I
you
think
there, Gaurav?
he's a well-wisher all along, so I would not ignore his request for sure.
Yes, yes. Gaurav, you tell us when you'd like to start. How was your New Year's Day today? We actually got a chance to spend some time with our family, my sisters-in-law, and
Oh,
the
lovely.
dog. My dog-in-law is a German Shepherd, adorable but a little crazy, and we really had a good time.
Right. So I think that's exactly what I did. My son is over. He managed to fly back home after a whole year. And so it was the perfect start for the New Year's. I cooked some lunch for him, and he made some awesome Indian chai, like the way he calls it, the cutting chai. He
Hmm.
made that. He pampered his mom with a cup of tea this afternoon. And I think it was just a beautiful time together. And of course, not to miss the dog. Through the lockdown, I think there was a sense of loneliness, I must say, even though we were all together at home. And I think that got me to a completely different mood altogether. And my daughter has always wanted a little puppy, a dog. And after our little Min Pin, who passed away a few years ago, I just thought to surprise her and cheer her spirits. So I adopted a stray, an indie dog. She's as pristine as she's pristine white, and she's actually an adorable little puppy growing up a little too soon. And yeah, and we named her Sarama. So today was the day with Sarama, Keshav, my mom-in-law. and a little bit with my husband. He chose to work today for half of the day. He thought it would be a good idea to kick off the new year with some work ethics. And I think that was like his, how they say, the totka, to kind of start the new year with some work. So, yeah, so, and here I am.
Lovely. So I think I'll start now. I'll start by introducing myself and then Sagrika. Yes, Gaurav, we are beginning. Thank you for asking us to start. We are starting right away. Champagne Boy. I'm an entrepreneur coach, and my mission is to help thousands of entrepreneurs achieve their most ambitious goal and create massive wealth for themselves, but most importantly, to live a life of fulfillment. And my name is Kamalini Roy. And today I have invited the gorgeous Sagrika Rai on my show, my first live on 1st of January 2021. This is going to be the best year ever, and that is why I have called this superpower woman. And I'll just share a little bit about her. She is the recipient of the Indian Express Devi Award, presented by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Shri Yogi Adityanath, for taking the Banaras heritage to a world platform, a global platform. And she has provided employment to artisans and weavers of Banaras for 23 years. She's the Black Book top 50 powerful women in Indian luxury. And Vogue called Walk and Weft, which is Sagrika Rai's company, her venture, her business, her baby, as an institution. And Sagrika is called the First Lady of Banarasi. Sagrika, please do tell us a little bit about your journey, how you managed to achieve so much single-handedly. You started off as a solopreneur with a powerful dream, and you believed in it, and you are successful. A little bit about you.
So, Kamalini, I'm born, brought up in Banaras, and I think that explains why Banarasi and Sagrika are inseparable. I've grown up with my mom wearing Banarsis every single day of her life. She was a working woman. She was a professor at the university. And so I have actually lived Banarsis I have lived in Banaras, so kind of learned the, the tricks of the trade, or so to say, the little nuances of the beautiful craftsmanship that my weavers are kind of supporting me with and my vision with. So it's been a beautiful journey, perhaps very organic. My growing up in Banaras has made me a very traditional person. And of course, my education has given me the, the vision to make some traditional values or to make a craft like Banarasi trendy. So to say how I've made this all, well, it's been not been a very short journey. It's almost like over 23 years. So it's been very organic, and it has come with a lot of commitment, dedication, and belief. Most important was belief in my mission. So yeah, so that's a little part of me, and like you introduced me with so many accolades that have come my way, which have actually been very organic, and they have kind of come to me, and I was actually in awe that, oh, really, did I do all this all along without even knowing that I was actually leading a mission, or perhaps even being a very integral part of some people's lives. So yes, it has come with a lot of dedication and hard work, and most importantly, belief.
I love that word, belief, Sagrika. And, as an entrepreneur coach, there's one thing I've seen about successful entrepreneurs. And that is, behind their business idea, they have a big why they are doing this business. So what
Right.
is the purpose? What made you start this at a young, tender age of 26? What is
Right.
that big why that, was driving you all along?
Right. So, like I said, being born, brought up, raised in Banaras, and uh, the most important influence in my life was my mum, who's the most poised lady even today as I see her. And she would wear Banarsis every single day of her life. I think that was my first introduction to Banarsi as a sari, or Banarsi as an everyday sari. The perception is the Banarsi sari is only meant for occasions or weddings, to be specific. Uh, and mum, being a working woman, would have guests and friends visiting us, and wanted to go around shopping in Banaras, and mum couldn't take them because she was committed to her work. And I would very, very willingly offer and volunteer to go along. Today, when I look back, I think I used to enjoy that. And that was my introduction to, at that time, traders, who I would, shopkeepers, so to say, where I would take our guests, aunts, relatives, family, and friends, and take them shopping. And while they were doing their bid, I would be kind of studying maybe the intricacy of the weave, come back home, make sketches. Even though I was very inclined towards the sciences that I studied, I was always a very academic person. But there was a part of me which always took me to back and again to the textiles that Banaras had to offer. And I think that was that was ingrained in me, and it kind of seeded the value of a very important textile, of a very important art form. And I got married very young in those days. Even today, when my daughter hears my story and she says, "Mom, you had a child marriage." I got married at 22 and became a mother at 25. And so I would kind of, by grace of God, my husband was very, he was very popular. He had lots of friends, and every time I went around with them, and I saw that there was a predominant Western influence. And in at dinners, people only wore black, whereas I was used to the colors that my city had to offer. And I think that was what kind of gave me the idea that there is a huge vacuum. And I went around looking for textiles for myself, to kind of custom make things. I was always used to custom making my own dresses, my own whatever that I wanted to indulge in, whichever silhouette I wanted to indulge in. And I wouldn't find the right textiles, so to say. And I think that gave me an idea that uh, I think first the thought, the vacuum, that there is a big gap in the market, and the influence is very Western, or even embroideries in those days. So that was the first driver. And of course, a bit of my personal bias towards Banarsi, which obviously was very, very strong. And I think that got me going. And I just came up with the idea of bringing textiles and introducing textiles in a form which would be accepted by the very sophisticated Bombay audience. So I had to kind of fight with the ideas, how women around in Bombay perceived Banarsi initially. But then I I think I've achieved and I have done what I thought to do. That's pretty much why I was drawn towards, uh, kind of the inception of Weft.
Lovely. You know, this mission to uphold the Indian tradition. Um,
Right,
very few people are really doing it, and I feel for what you're saying. I understand it. My husband also runs a business called Memory Marg, and
uh-huh,
it upholds Indian heritage. It's a business about he makes souvenirs of heritage monuments of India. And
right,
I totally understand where you are coming from, and it's wonderful that we still have people who believe in what India has to offer. So
right,
wonderful.
right.
And I just ask you my next question. You know, you said that you have single-handedly handled this from the age of 26. What do you feel as an entrepreneur are those special personality traits that you developed? What is that value system that you have, which you have probably transferred to your company as the code of honor, which has made you so successful?
So to begin with, the sector that I fall in spite of the fact that I only deal with handmade processes, and the sector which is the core of my business is a non-mechanized sector, handloom, handmade, where perfection is very, very tough to achieve, very tough to achieve, because even if you are dyeing a fabric in the same color tone twice, uh, it may yet vary. So the first thing that I think I have inculcated, and which has been inherent part of me and of my trait, is perfection and dedication. That how do you achieve it, even with the challenges, even with the chaos in which you're working? How do you deliver perfection? And how do you kind of bring in the focus and the belief and the dedication to bring out the quality, what you want to give to your audience, what you want to give to your customers? So I think that's very important. That's very important. That's a very important ingredient, to be kind of dedicated to the task that you are doing, to be focused and to just continue to be at it, and just continue doing what you kind of believe in and keep doing it. And it only gets better by the day.
Lovely. Yes, the dedication is extremely important.
Right,
And uh, that actually takes me to what I wanted to ask you next,
right.
that successful entrepreneurs are not different at all. They are regular people. But what makes them different is the success mindset that they have. So they just have a different mindset,
True.
that's all. And Earl
Right.
Nightingale said that we become what we think about. So, can you talk a little bit about your mindset, which helped you endure all the ups and downs of the past 23 years and never wanting to give up?
So, Kamalini, you may laugh, but the mindset is very Banarsi. Uh, it's Banarsi and Sagrika are inseparable. And when I say Banarsi, there is I also call it as a bit of an attitude, a bit of that fearlessness. Uh, like how I describe it is the Banarasipana that I have. So the mindset is completely Banarsi. And so that makes it very easy. You know, if there is something that you so believe in and you so believe in the finesse of the craft, you are bound to bring out the best of it to the world. So I think that's what it is, you know, just believe in what you wish to do. And then to create, to kind of build it up, to kind of make it expand. those are all experiments that happen all along the journey. And not all experiments would always be successful. There would be some failures, I have to admit. There have been many failures. But yes, as long as your mindset is Banarasi, and that's what you are doing, or for that matter, whatever you are, whatever you're pursuing, I think you should just believe in it and just keep at it. That's very important.
Yes. You know, as a Bengali from
Right,
Calcutta,
right.
Banarasi saris exist in every Bengali's cupboard. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yes,
And you
absolutely.
only get married in a Banarasi sari. That's it.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes.
So,
So I, hmm,
Kamalini, to cut you there. So my mission has always been that why only the wedding sari? It has to be an everyday wear, and which I have kind of been quite successful, because in Mumbai you have women from all professions who come to you, and I have been able to transform, I must say, many women who kind of thought of Banarsi beyond just the sari. Of course, there's nothing as beautiful, as gorgeous for a bride, to kind of have a Banarsi sari or a Banarsi lehenga for her the day. But the fun part is when you could also wear the same textile as a pair of shorts to a beach, or as a lovely evening dress. Yeah, so I mean that's only I think that's been the strength of conviction, and that's been my forte all along.
and that's where the innovativeness of an entrepreneur comes through also, to have this kind of a thought.
Right,
So
right,
I want to ask you one question, and this is with respect to the younger generation, the generation that are into startups today. It's a big word, startup. And the
right,
younger generation today is looking more in favor of entrepreneurship rather than going in for a job.
right,
But one thing I find, which is a common thread amongst the youngsters, the millennials out here, they are the ones who are starting all these small businesses now, is youngsters feel that the first step towards starting a business is raising capital. Fundraising, very popular word today. And they go and try to garner investors just for their business idea. You have
true.
become very successful. I want to know at what stage you raised capital, if you ever did, and if you didn't ever in the initial years or at all, then I think there's a very strong message that needs to go out to young entrepreneurs today, that it's lots more than money that makes a business successful. So your views on this?
Right. So, yeah, I do agree with you that the youngsters today have a different approach altogether. Maybe they are kind of, so to say, groomed to think like that, or they've been educated to think like that, that you cannot be successful unless there's a very strong capital investment. But I do think differently. I'm a little old school. I think the traditional values in which we grew up, we were trained, or so to say, it was just a part of our upbringing, that we were taught to do more in little, in very small budgets, with very little pocket money. We were expected to kind of have it flowing, or have it fully optimized. And I think that's a principle I did apply to my business. To be really honest, when I started my enterprise in 1997, I did borrow a small sum of money from my husband, because I had none. That was the first time I was going out in the real world to earn a buck. And that very soon taught me that it's not that easy to earn a buck, because you have to make your way there. And my husband being from the finance side, and I think that's where he mentored me and a bit of hand holding till today, actually, that he does. He taught me the fiscal discipline, and he taught me, and he tried to kind of, there were moments where I used to feel, oh, is he not supporting me? I used to doubt that, but actually he was making me more independent and making me think like a leader, like a team leader, where I could build a team and I could build a brand with very little. So I've had the advantage of a husband in the finance side who guided me through managing my budgets to kind of managing my spends. He always taught me the value of expenditure, that how important it was to kind of be careful with every spend, every penny, because he taught me the culture that it's whatever I spend from the company is company money at the end of the day. And he made me independent in the process. And I, luckily, God's grace, never had any investors, and I learned the art of reinvesting back in my business. For years on end, I did not draw a penny, and my passion was bigger than my personal indulgences, so to say. And so I think I've been blessed. I've been self-made all along, and with some good influences around me. That's all. I hold gratitude for that.
Lovely, Sagrika. Thank you. And I really didn't know where my question would lead to, because I
Right,
really don't know whether you had done fundraising.
right,
But I'm so glad you said what you said, because I do want this message that you gave to go out to every single youngster who's trying to start a business today, that you can scale business, you can become successful even if you don't have investors in your company. Because what you
right.
need is dedication, passion, and a certain system in the way in which you function,
And
and
of
that is very learnable. Yeah,
right,
and like you said, you learned it from your husband. It's just a
right,
question of learning it. It's very, very
right,
learnable. You don't have to be
right,
born with it.
right.
And I'm so glad that you actually shared this. Yes, you were trying to say something.
Right. But what is important all along is for any of the youngsters to know today that there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to success. It comes in with lot of endurance. It comes in with lot of strength of your own belief, and also to be able to deliver what you're promising to your audience, your customers, or whoever. It is very, very important to keep that level of perfection, to keep that level of precision in even the smallest thing that you do at your workplace. So if you've kind of indulged and if you've gone all out to start an enterprise, there are really no shortcuts. There is only unless you can give your 200%, it's not worth it, because then you're also riding on someone else's money, which is not fair either. So I think that's a very important, I would say, karma to hold all along,
Absolutely.
whatever you do.
Absolutely. In fact, Sagrika, you've mentioned the word belief, I think at least 10 or 11 times in this entire half an hour conversation. And while I did say that we let the live be for 30 minutes, but if you're okay, I'll just continue with, I have one or two more questions, which I'm really keen to know
Sure,
your side of the story.
sure,
Another
sure,
10 minutes.
sure,
And
sure.
since you've spoken about belief, I do want to share that just this week, I shared um, all about how to, the only way to be successful is to have belief in yourself. So I shared a 6-step method on having a successful mind on my YouTube channel, which goes by my name, Kamalini Roy. And everything of what you said is what the channel talks about, what I've spoken about, and how to develop this. So
Right.
I'm really glad that you and I are on the same wavelength, and it just goes to prove that belief is what you need to
Right,
have a successful, venture.
right,
I didn't ask you about your challenges because people feel that when a business is successful, it's just like one movement upwards and there are no challenges. It's all simple, smooth. The environment is perfect for, successful entrepreneurs. It is not that way. Can you share one of your biggest challenges? And what I want to know more is how did you overcome it? What was the solution? What did you learn from that challenge? Just one.
right. So I think, if you are if you are a woman, you always have different roles to play. So from being a daughter to a wife to a daughter-in-law to a mother, literally the lady who runs the show, the home, and then of course you have a vision, you have a passion which you want, you have a dream that you want to pursue. So there is the business side of it. So I think the most important challenge, or something I'm sure every woman would relate with, is the balance, creating the balance between work life and home life. I did have moments, I was already a mother to a year-old when I started Weft. So there were always days where I had to kind of leave my work and all of a sudden run to school because there was like an emergency, something that was needed, and the mother that had to play. They were it can get a little overwhelming when you are kind of playing all those roles and you're trying to multitask. But like I said, I always seen my mother being a career woman and handling all those challenges with a smile. So I think the one thing I learned is if you just keep smiling, you find solutions to everything, and you just kind of keep your positive energy going. Yes, it does get exhausting at the end of the day sometimes. After all, you're human. So there are moments of breakdown. I've had those too. But then you just keep at it. You just wake up the next morning and you say, no, this is not going to, bring my energies down or my spirits down, and nothing can phase me. So that, of course, as a human being, as different roles as a woman that you play, it has been very, very key to kind of manage all those aspects of life, which are pretty much each working woman, each entrepreneur's life. And then beyond that, scaling your business and building a brand, something on the other hand that you believe in so much, and have the acceptance or have the admiration or have the positive responses from your audience. So there was the business side of me, where you had to strategize, even though I've always done my work in a very organic way. And I always believe in very strong ethics. I like to be fair to my customer. I like to be fair to my uh, craftsmen. And I feel I'm the one in between the two, who holds like a social responsibility, who holds a responsibility to the weavers, because when I'm creating, when I'm kind of building something, they are believing in me and they are seeing a light through my vision. So that balance, and of course, then you have the customer on the other end who's at the receiving end. So you are like the mediator between the two. That is another very, very huge, I should say, responsibility on our shoulders, where you want to be a pioneer of taking an Indian, a craft which is actually heritage, which is a historic tradition. So you want to take that forward, At the same time, you have certain rejections, certain acceptances from your customers. But how do you not even inform your weaver or your artisan, who's the, who's the skill behind the art, not make him feel demotivated? So it's like you are facing the brunt, you are like the sponge bobbed in between the two, and balancing that act. It's been challenging, those things. And of course, growing my business, I was in no rush. I wanted to do it slowly. I wanted to capture the minds of the women because I was trying to fight, perhaps, being in Bombay, or for that matter, India, Mumbai is, Mumbai having Bollywood, our fashion influencers are perhaps the biggest fashion influencers in our society, in our Indian society, is actually Bollywood. So where the Bollywood influence is so strong, which was not about Banarsis, which was not about handloom, which was not about handwoven, which was not about vocal for local in the days that I started, was the real challenge. But then I kept at it. I believed in what I did, and slowly I started receiving good responses, which kind of charged me even more, encouraged me even more to keep going on. And so it was very tricky, a thin line, but definitely, maybe if I read your channel, the YouTube channel, the academic words for the learning curve or the growth curve will come through. But yes, it has been very organic all through. I've faced it all. I've kind of gone through it. I've gone through my ups and downs. All businesses go through their ups and downs. But nothing has really phased my spirits, and I'm still here, still supporting our weaver community, and bringing cheer, color in lives of women, young girls around now. So my present audience, I must admit, a lot of young girls, which is brilliant.
Thanks a lot, Sagrika. And most importantly, thanks for sharing your vulnerability. I liked it. You actually shared with us that there were times when you broke down, and there are very few leaders who actually share that in front of a public audience, their vulnerability, and that makes you more human. And thank you for sharing that. There are three things that you said, and I caught on to it, and it's very important for me to actually summarize the three things that you said, because this is exactly how challenges must be faced. There are three traits you spoke about. One is what we call in the coaching world, as an entrepreneur coach, I'm going to use a word which you probably don't know about, but it came through with what you're saying. It's called the growth mindset. The fact that you said get up and just move on, it's called the growth mindset. The second thing that you spoke about was positivity. You were always positive that you could, move forward and overcome your challenges. And the third thing that came out very strongly, and it's very, very important, more important for a woman, but I do believe women have it in them, most women have it in them, is grit. Every entrepreneur needs grit. And you just showcased that as a woman. I think all women have tremendous grit because they are balancing so many things in life. And you just shared that without realizing that these are the absolutely the traits that make an entrepreneur successful. I would like to wrap up in the next 2 minutes. So I am just going to ask you one question. One of the things we believe as entrepreneur coaches, which we try for, to inculcate in the entrepreneurs we coach, is adaptability. It is one of the biggest skill sets that is required, and the pandemic has proven that even more. How did you adapt in the past 8 to 10 months? How did you adapt?
So the most important has been technology. Like I started the show saying, I am an old school person, and for Sagrika, Weft has always been about experience and about the chemistry that I enjoy with any customer who walks in. I love to meet every customer who walks in person, and I like to know them a little bit. No, not kind of interfering, but being a part of their, their lifestyle. Because in the position that I am in, where I'm styling and where I'm recommending and designing for them, it is very important for me to have that chemistry, that relationship with every woman who walks into the store and aspires to be the Weft woman. Uh, well, the lockdown kind of left me completely devoid of that. We did not have any e-commerce presence because I never believed in it. And I was very happy doing my own thing. And, this kind of, there was a realization that no, we have to move with the times, we have to grow with the times. And hence the brick and mortar module is not the way forward, because the businesswoman in me felt that I was making a mistake doing that. And hence we have worked towards our e-commerce. We are still improvising. There have been a lot of challenges, teething issues, all the more because of lockdown. There have been many, limitations to how much we could do, how much we could survive. And so we, from the business aspect, I think I have accepted that I have to adopt technology. From the human aspect, to kind of see my team struggle, and with trains not running in Mumbai, and it's like Weft is a team. They have been with me for so many years. It was important for me to support through. Don't see Weft working without them, them without me. It's like a very integral part of the team, the members of the team. So what was important for me was to kind of make arrangements, their housing arrangements close to workplace, so they could kind of go back home on weekends and be with the family, but Monday through Saturday, keep up the positive spirit and the cheer of kind of being involved with the organization as much as they would be doing in the non-corona, non-COVID times. As a team leader, again, you are running the show. So if you walk into your space with a smile, you kind of, energize the environment around you. But if you, we've all had challenges. We've all had poor sales. I'm in the luxury sector. Sales are, I must admit, I'm happy to say that on the platform, that they've not been as much because businesses have suffered globally. All industries have had a hit, and hence it kind of affects the luxury sector the most, not so much the food and the other essentials. In such times, to kind of keep the spirit of, no, we will sail through and we will sail through this together, has been very, very important. So even days where I was very nervous inside, I had to be very strong. I had to be strong for my team members. I had to be strong for my weavers who rely on me for their living. So I think, in terms of adaptation, the adaptation has been on human grounds, to be able to receive each other with our limitations, with our challenges, and of course, the monetary side of it, which is you have to kind of, you are in a position where you have to take care of everybody. So I think as long as we have sailed through 2020 and we are now here, I'm here talking to you. I think it's a good kickstart of the year. I'm sure there are better things coming our way. And, um, you know, it's just been a time of lot of learning and realizations, and of course, very quiet, uh, quiet times of getting to know each other at a personal level. So adaptation, I would say, is very uh, natural in such a situation where you stand for each other.
Absolutely. Yes, and the fact that you are here and talking to me now is, like you said, clearly shows that you managed to adapt and sail through. Sagrika,
Right.
there are a few people who want to join the show, but I'm thinking, can we just wait for 20 seconds to
Sure.
give them a chance to ask a question either to you or to me through the
Sure.
comment? And
Absolutely.
if they put it in through the comment, great, we'll just wait for another minute. So if you all have a question, could you all just put it in the comment rather than asking to join the show live? And Sagrika will answer it as a successful entrepreneur. And I'm an entrepreneur coach. If any of you all are running businesses and you need me to answer a question which you feel can help you, both of us are here to answer your question. And we'll wait for a couple of seconds. And Sagrika, just wanted to thank you. And this really has been a wonderful way to start the new year. And I really enjoyed chatting with you. I always say that in every coaching session that I do with entrepreneurs, I think I end up learning much more. And in today's session, I think I would say the same. In this 45 minutes that I spent with you, I've learned a
Right.
lot myself. And I think all those who wanted to join live just wanted to join live, no questions. So with that, I'll end the show. Sagrika, very, very
Right.
happy 2021, and I know you will rock.
Thank you, Kamalini. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you.
Okay, bye, and I'm disconnecting now. Bye.
Right.